Hi guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So I am here for another one of our favourite projects from 2019 revisited. And of course I couldn't then come back and not do the altered patterned paper that we did. You know, making our own paper from book pages. Sorry, obviously can't really talk this morning for some reason again. So what I'm going to do, last time I just had to use that favourite stamp of mine, which is now wedged in my drawer. Can I get to it? No, I don't think I can. Right, without kind of moving everything. But today I'm going to use a different stamp. It's pretty similar in that it's a swirly stamp. I mean, I absolutely love these kind of swirly, cornery, backgroundy kind of stamps. I think they're really versatile, and you know, if you watch my channel you'll know that I really use them a lot. And I've just brought along a bunch of book pages. So what I thought we could do is I thought we could make our patterned paper, and then I thought we could do some collaging with it and make some collage sheets, and then hopefully, you know, in the coming days, weeks, however long, we can then use those collage sheets. I have got a lot of things planned going on my channel at the moment, so I don't know the order of, you know, how things will go up, but let's get cracking and we'll see how far we get today. So the first thing I'm going to do is just ink up my book page slightly. Now you may or may not need to do this. This, I think, was a Reader's Digest book, and if you can see, I mean, it is a vintage book, but I mean, it's not hugely vintage. I think it's like the 60s or something. The pages, they're not white. Of course, they're not white, but they're not that sort of dark colour like, have I got any to compare? Can you see there? I mean, these have got a much more yellowy tinge to them. I don't know how well that's showing up on camera, but these are not the darkest is basically what I'm trying to say. So depending on your colour of your book pages, you may or may not want to ink them. I'm just inking mine up first, quickly like this. And then all I'm going to do is take my black StazOn. So again, when I did the previous video, I mean, I can't remember quite exactly what colours I used, but I know that I used the beautiful Azure StazOn. I'm just going to be using the black for the moment. We might do a few more in a minute. And all I'm going to do is literally go around my book page. I mean, this is quite messy, so you're going to probably get ink and things on your fingers and your hands a little bit. So just to warn you, you know, if you don't really like that, you may want to use a block. I'm using this, I mean, I tend to stamp like this anyway, but I definitely think a block is going to be a bit restrictive if you're trying to get random patterns, because you're going to then probably get, you know, most of your stamp and you won't have so much control as to where you put it. So I'm just literally going round my page with the stamp. Okay, so let me just fill in this little bit here, which looked a bit plain to me, and maybe that piece. So that's that one. Oops, I'm just going to separate that out and we'll just do another one. Again, I'm just going to ink it up first. Nearly dipped it in the StazOn just then. Let me move it right out the way because I keep doing that lately. So not a great technique, dipping your blender tool in the StazOn, but okie dokie. So I hope everyone's having a good day and getting some crafting done. Thank you so much to those people who have commented saying that they're really enjoying the revisit videos. I didn't obviously know how they would go down, but touch wood, it seems that people are enjoying them. I mean, there are a lot of people who missed the original videos, so it's quite nice to have a bit of a recap, I guess, for those people who missed them. I mean, obviously, you know, a lot of people perhaps weren't even, you know, subscribed to my channel back when I did the originals. And you know, of course, just because you're subscribed, I don't for 1 minute think that everybody's watching every video anyway. So, you know, it may have been that you just didn't catch the original video. So, yeah, touch wood, they seem to be going down well and people seem to be enjoying them. So that's fantastic. I'm really enjoying revisiting because, as I have said in a couple of these, I mean, for me, I'm doing videos all the time, and so often I'm not really getting time to fully digest what I've done in one before I'm trying to, you know, do a different video or try something different in another video. So doing this is kind of like a bit of a nice process for me to recap and revisit things that I might have, you know, otherwise not really spent much time on, because it was kind of like, did the video and now it's gone. So for me, it's quite nice to come back and spend a bit more time with some of the projects that were really quite enjoyable to do. So, right, so that's my piece of paper. I'm just going to fill in that little gap there. Okay. I will do one actually just in a different colour, and I'm just going to dig out my, sorry, I did just then bash into the table. Just to show those people who didn't obviously catch the original video, because this favourite stamp of mine, I mean, I just didn't want to be really boring and do a complete repeat, but I just want to show you because I just think this one comes out really gorgeous. So I'm just going to again ink my page. I mean, for what I'm going to be using this for, the technique that we've just used with, you know, with the smaller stamp, that's going to be fine because I'm planning on tearing it to make collage sheets. But I just do want to just revisit using, you know, this stamp because I think it just looked so stunning on the page. So I just want to kind of revisit that. And actually what I'm going to do is use this one, which is that beautiful emerald, which I used quite a bit in my Festive Frolics journal. Just going to stamp this because I've not stamped for a while. There we go. Isn't that the most beautiful colour green? Oh, I just, like, love that colour. Love it, love it, love it. So I'm just going to stamp that in random places around the page. Isn't that the most glorious stamp and the most fantastic colour? Right, I'm going to get really covered in the ink now, so I do apologise for the state of my hands now for the duration of this video. So and possibly other videos, because I'm planning on doing a couple back to back today, so there'll be very messy hands in videos that are completely unconnected to this. But I just wanted to show you, now this stamp, if you didn't see the original video and you haven't heard me going on about this stamp, you know, a billion times already, this is a stamp from Indigo Blue. I can't remember now what it was called, but it might have been something like Flourish or Swirl. If you search Indigo Blue Flourish or Swirl stamp, I'm sure it's going to come up either on Google Images or something like that. I know that when I ran the first video, several people did manage to get that stamp. So definitely it's out there and it's not that tricky to find. I just had to kind of show you because I just love, love, love that stamp so much. I mean, I could just use that and probably, you know, practically no other stamp, to be honest. I just love it so much. Right. So I just wanted to show you guys, A, that stamp, and B, a different colourway, just so that, you know, you've got a bit of an idea of just how awesome that looks. Right, I'm going to stop waffling now. So I'm going to move these ink pads out of the way, so I have a little bit more room on my desk. I stamp away. Okay, so all I'm going to do in the first instance is, let me try and find a sort of scrap piece of paper. Typically, I now can't find one. Hold on a moment. I thought I'd come along really organised, but as usual, not as organised as I should have been. Right, so I'm going to start with this piece of paper here. And then what I have brought along is just a bunch of things here that we can use to do some sort of collage page. So obviously these are my two that I have just made. I'm going to just pop those to one side. And then what I'm going to do is just mix them in with a couple of other things. So, I mean, if you saw my all 4 videos of collaging back in, I think it was like the spring, you know, I do struggle with collage quite a lot, I have to say. It doesn't really come naturally to me. But having practiced it a few times, obviously in slow time, so as I'm not boring you guys to tears, I have found it helps me slightly, and I'm not saying this would be for everybody, but it helps me to gather a few things that I think are going to look good together and go from there. So I'm going to mix these bunch of pieces, which hopefully are going to give a nice, you know, effect on the actual finished piece, if that makes sense. I had a lot of pieces there, didn't I? And actually I've just got this as well. So these are some of my background pages from my vintage notes kit. And I'm just going to mix them in with the blacks because I think they're going to hopefully make a sort of striking impact. So all I'm going to do, these are some vintage book pages. Again, I've already been using these for collage elsewhere, so I've got those. And then I've just got a bit of sheet music here. A little bit of old kind of newspaper. And then obviously my new sheets here. So all I'm going to do is, in the first instance, to just get started somewhere on the page, I'll just take, I think, probably this. And I'm just going to, you know, well, in fact, it probably doesn't even need tearing. I can just literally have it here. So I'm just going to tear down on that side. So that will just get me started. And then I'm just going to tear down my sheet music. Like that. Now, I'm going to also tear some of this background page. So, I mean, obviously, if you've got these vintage notes papers, you know, feel free to use them in your collage. I mean, I just ask that you obviously wouldn't then copy them and sell them on, you know, but feel free to use them in your collage that you're going to use the original pieces, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to sort of balance that out a bit like that, and then I'll just tear down a little bit more of the sheet music. I think I'll have it that way up now. So maybe I'll have that there and this over here. So now I can take my paper that we just made and then just tear around and just begin to mix that in with the patterned papers like that. And then again, I'm just going to take that little strip here, pop that there, and then just take, I think, a bit more book page. Maybe like that. Excuse my head, and obviously I'm having to lean over a little bit to be able to see where we're at a bit. So, like that. Okay, and just tear a little bit more of the sheet music. Like that. Now, the other thing that I quite like putting in is things like paper bag, which I thought I had brought along some paper bag. I now can't locate it anywhere, so just bear with me for a moment. Oh, what have I done with the paper bag? This is, again, not how to craft. Right, hold on, I've got some paper bag behind me. So, let's just have a look. Oh, she said that now I don't appear to have any paper bag behind me. Hold on. Oh, right. I don't appear to be able to find the paper bag that I had brought along to use. So that's slightly annoying. But I've got some coffee dyed paper here. So what I'm going to do is just take some of that. And I just love how coffee dyed paper looks, don't you? Just looks absolutely awesome. So what we can do is just fill in some of those spaces like that. Right, what I'm going to do, I find quite helpful, is to start gluing some bits down, because again, like we've been saying lately, I just find it quite helpful to like have a starting point, basically, because if all of my bits are movable, I just then overthink things and, you know, really keep moving them about. So for me, I find it pretty helpful to actually glue some pieces down, and then that's, you know, that's a good way for me to get started. So we'll just glue down some of the bits that we're happy with. And again, you know, you might not want to go right to your edges, because then if you want to tuck any paper underneath things, oops, you've then got room to do that. So here, I'm just going to pop this piece down like that. And then I'm just going to pop this piece down over here. Like that. Okie dokie. And then what I'm going to do, I think, is take my coffee dyed paper and pop that down. So I'm going to pop this little piece of book page down, teeny piece, in here. Oops. Oops. And then excuse the back of this. Obviously, this is where, again, you know, I have been, you know, mucking about printing my kits to get them how I want them. So it's really nice to reuse some pieces. Oops, I forgot to stick my new patterned book page down. So hold on. Okie dokie. Let's just tuck that in. So excuse my head again. I just, you know, I need to kind of see where I'm lining it up, and then I can glue this piece down here. So where did I want this? Let's just have a look. No, right, let me just pull in a bit more of that coffee dyed paper. So perhaps I'll have that here, like that. And I have the sheet music. I'm just going to tear this off so I haven't got a straightish edge. We'll just pop that down there. This one here, this here. Right, so as you can see, I've just got these 2 gaps. So I just now want to fill them in with something. So I'm going to pull in the book page here. That can go just there. So again, just tear that round. Like that. So that looks really nice. And then, because we haven't glued this one down, what I might do is actually have this here. Oops. And then maybe that there. Okay, so I quite like how that's come together now. So all I'm going to do is pop my sheet music down, because I think this is the order it needs to kind of go in. So there's my sheet music. Ooh. Okay, then I'm going to pop my book page down like that. Did I glue this down yet? No. So then we'll just glue our piece down here. Oops, like that. Okay. And then I think what we'll do is glue our little bit of decorative, you know, book page that we just made. We will stick that down next. So I want to make sure that I kind of get it in the right place here. So just pop that like that. And then our piece of sheet music here. Just pop that down here. Like that. Oops. Yep, okay, and then we're going to have this piece here like that, and then what I'm going to do is just tear this edge down slightly. So we'll just glue this one down. Like that. Okay, I'm going to just tear this edge down because I don't want that looking like a straight edge. So, but I'm going to try and keep it as big as possible. So I'm just tearing it very close to the straight edge there. Okay, then we're going to go up there, and then we can just pop this little piece of book page in down there. Okay, so that looks really nice. I like how that looks. And if you're doubting at the moment how it looks, because I completely get that, we're going to make you know, maybe another piece with the other piece of black, which will hopefully, you know, might be more, whoops, you know, it might be something that you maybe would think looks better. But I really like how these colours look together. So that's all of my pieces. This is where I pick it up and something drops off where I haven't glued it down. So far so good. Right, now what I'm going to do is just trim up, excuse the back. This was obviously where I was creating my Ring of Roses kit. I'm just going to trim around the edge to make that a sheet of paper like that. Okay, oops. And then just down the side And then we're nearly done. Hold on. And then here. Come on. Okay, so that's it now as a sort of tidy sheet without all the edges hanging off. So I love how that looks. I like the contrast of the, you know, the bold black against those quite delicate colours. It looks really striking to me. So I hope you guys like it. Just one or two other things that you could do is I've got some doily here. And I mean, as you can see, this is, you know, this is bright white. It's not been coffee dyed or anything. But you could always, you know, add some doily or something like that into your collage, because that can just add a little bit more interest if you wanted something like that. So I just wanted to kind of show you that really. But what I've got planned for this is I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to just stitch around just one or two bits, hopefully with some black thread. And hopefully that will make this look really, really striking. So that's the plan. But until I do that, we'll just do one more. So just bear with me a moment. Okay, so again, I'm just going to do exactly the same method here by bringing in some of my bits and bobs that I would like to use with this. And again, you know, they're going to be, for me, you know, pretty much similar things, i.e. the sheet music, some book page and things like that. And then what I thought I might mix it with is some of these bits from my Slipper and the Rose kit. Although, no, I'm thinking, should I do it with my Farmhouse Blues? I'm not sure. Well, that would be quite colourless. Oh, let's go for the pinks. Let's do that. Because that was my initial thoughts, was let's go for the pinks. Right. And what I've also brought along is, you know, like the cover sheet from some sheet music. I love these cover sheets where they've got like the beautiful titles and the prices and things like that. They just look so pretty. I mean, you can see this is pretty aged, this piece. This was some beautiful sheet music gifted to me by lovely Carol. So thank you so much, Carol. I'm still hoarding most of it. But I'm gradually kind of, you know, making myself use pieces of it. But I love things like this. So we may tear around that and incorporate some things like that into our pieces here. So again, what I'm going to do is start by just tearing down a few random pieces. Obviously these are from my fussy cut pieces, and so, you know, they're not even very big. So I should have actually brought along some background page. I don't know whether I've actually got any of the background page here beside me. Probably not. No, I obviously haven't been that organised. But, you know, hopefully this is going to show that, you know, you really can use pretty much anything and get away with it. So I've got this lovely clock face here. So again, I'm just going to tear that down. In fact, just tear that like that, and then we'll use that in a minute. I've got this gorgeous postcard in this pretty pink, so we'll just tear that one out. And then I've got this one. We'll just tear that one. And then I'm going to just see if I need to use these in a minute. I may, you know, I may or I may not. And then this one, obviously I don't want to use these because to me that's not really going to go. But I just wondered whether I might want to use some of this more texty type bit. So again, I'm just going to tear some of that down. You know, might or might not use that, but we'll just have it here ready for just in case. Okay, now I seem like I don't have very much paper here, so I might not even have enough to actually get started on the page itself. But we'll see, and hopefully, you know, hopefully there will be enough. So again, you know, I might just take this quite a large piece and then just pop that there. And again, you know, we're just playing and we may end up changing our minds and altering things about. So I've got this here. Again, just from some vintage books. So I've got this side or this side. I'm going to just use the texty side, I think. And we'll see, you know, see how that goes. Then I've got this obviously beautiful piece there. So let's just tear down some of our decorative paper that we made. We could have that there. Now, do I need more sheet music? Yes, because look, just got that tiny weeny scrap. Right. Got this piece here, which, I mean, that doesn't to me look like it's got very much music going on at all, but, you know, I can't read music. Maybe there's more going on than I realise, I don't know. And then I'm just going to tear out this postcard. Which maybe we could have something like that. So just move these bits out of the way a bit. I'm going to just tear this down. Now I quite like that bit of sellotape at the bottom, but whether or not we'll be able to keep that in, I don't know. But let's try that here. Maybe have this piece here. I'll just have to move that over a bit, like that. Now I'm going to just bring in a bit of the coffee dyed paper. And just see. Just have a look, see how this would come together. I haven't actually got any book page there now. Don't think I have. No, I haven't. So we could have that there. And then we're in need of another piece of the patterned paper there. So I might just tear that down a bit. It's just, I might have actually needed more of this, to be honest, than I've actually got. But never mind, we will try and make do with what we've got. So I'll just move that over slightly. Don't want that like that. Okay, so I quite like how that's coming together. I need some more pink. Now, let's just see. I really could have done with more of this pink paper. I mean, I just grabbed some scraps that I happen to have laying around. Might have that there. Right, so what I'm going to do first of all is glue down. I'm going to glue down this piece first. Like that. So I'll just put that roughly where that's going to be. And then move that over slightly. Then I'm going to glue this piece down now. Again, just because, you know, I really do find it much easier once I've got a few pieces placed, fixed, where they're roughly going to go, because all the time that they are moving, you know, I just then knock them, can't remember them where I've put them and things like that. So for me, I do find this really helpful to get a few pieces actually glued down. So I'm going to glue this great big piece now. Like that. I'm just going to glue that there. Oops. Okay. And then just try not to stick that to the paper underneath. I'm going to have that piece there and that piece. I need to move that over a bit because oh look, that's just a bit too small. I wonder whether, hold on, because once I, oh no, I was going to say once I glue this down I'm going to have some more, but actually I won't. So right, well let's have a bit of a think. So we could have that there, or oh no, that's why, because I had this here. And that's what I mean. Once I move things, I can no longer remember really then exactly what my plan was. So it's very handy to get things glued down before that kind of thing happens. So I'm going to glue this piece down here. Like that. Actually, that was miles over there, wasn't it? I don't know why I then stuck it right over to that side, but I'm now going to glue this piece down here. So again, just pop that in its place like that. And then we're going to have this and the sheet music. Now, do we want that buried or on top? I quite like it on top, so I'm going to pop this piece down next. Like that. Okay. Just pop that piece down like that. And then we're going to pop the sheet music down. I mean, obviously Rachel is amazing at collage, and she just seems to just put literally, you know, things there and they just look amazing. I mean, I do find it much more of a process, you know, that I kind of have to focus and concentrate a little bit more on. Hopefully I have improved since my original videos, which honestly were just so appalling. I was literally actually horrified that I'd even put them up there, but you know, I'm not anywhere near obviously like Rachel. She just really is kind of queen of the collage, and also making it look so absolutely easy and effortless. She just has this wonderful ability to just place things down and they just look awesome. So yeah, definitely she is incredible at her collage. So there we go. I'm just going to stick this one down. So we're just going to pop that there like that. And I think I liked that book page like tucked under here a little bit, if you can kind of see that, just sort of poking out. So I'm going to just actually just glue round there, I think, and then just glue down here. Might be the easiest way of getting that stuck down. So I want to sort of hook it behind that piece of paper slightly, if that makes sense. So oops, I'll just put that down there a bit. So it's sort of poking out a little bit. Okay, so that looks really nice. Now I'm going to pop this pink piece here. And actually I still haven't used that big pink clock face, so we could have that somewhere. And you know what else we haven't used? We haven't used any of our sheet music title page, so perhaps we will incorporate a bit of this. So I'll just tear this down carefully because I want to try and preserve it. I just love how things like this look. They're just, oh, really, really nice. So let's just tear around. And just tear that down here. So like that. And then we could have that there maybe. Let's just see whether we could incorporate this. I might think this looks hideous, but it might look okay. Oops. Don't want that edge, so come out. Oh, that's just too much pink now, right next to each other. That would have been better, kind of down there. Let's just have a look and see whether we could pop in a piece of our patterned paper. Our patterned book page there. That looks quite nice. Right, excuse my head while I just see how that is, like, fitting on the page wise. Okay, well, I can just about do that. So if I'm going to try and hold it in place like that. Oops. So let's just glue that down as best we can. Okay, and then I'm just going to pop that one down as well. Okie dokie, right, so we've got that, and then our piece of our patterned book page. So let me just pop this down like that. So we just pop that there like that. Actually, you can have it a bit lower down, and then it sort of touches the pink. And we'll just pop this piece down like that. Okay, so that looks really nice, I think. And then what I'm going to do, and I really think this makes a big difference, once you trim off around the edge, it makes a big difference to how your piece is going to look, because obviously at the moment it looks very shoddy and tatty, but once you trim it off, it just makes it look more like a you know, cohesive kind of piece of paper rather than a bunch of stuff stuck on randomly. It just makes it look more like what it's supposed to look like, I suppose. So just trim around the edges like that. Oops. Okay, let me just get rid of all of this, and then we can see how it looks. Oh, I really like how that looks. What do you guys think? Do you like that? I hope you do. So really, really pretty. And again, just to kind of show you what that doily and things would look like. You know, you could just sort of pop some doily on there somewhere, and it would just bring an added sort of, whoops, an added texture and an added sort of piece of interest to that pretty collage piece. So I really like how that looks. Now what I'm going to do again is endeavour to stitch around some of these pieces, and then hopefully we'll be able to come and have more of a play with this actual piece. As I say, I'm not sure whether that video now, you know, playing with the pieces will go next to this. It may be that that won't sort of go on for a few weeks because I have got quite a lot coming up on my channel. But yeah, I hope that you like them, and I hope that you liked the effect of the patterned book page. I mean, it really just kind of adds to the overall effect, I guess, rather than just having you know, your normal book page. it just adds another little extra dimension into the page. And again, that's that beautiful one on the green, or with the green stamp. Absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to go and stitch around this and hopefully then come back and show you at least how it looks with the stitching. So I'll catch you in a moment. Right, I'm back from the sewing machine. So I just want to show you how really lovely this looks now. So all I did was stitched around the, basically what's essentially the, you know, the patterned paper, the digi type of part of the kit, or the page. And I have used the black stitching so as it really kind of shows up. I just think that looks really lovely. I mean, you could have obviously stitched around every single piece. I haven't ever done that before. If ever I've stitched around a collage piece, I have only stitched around 1 or 2 pieces. Because obviously once you've stitched, it's kind of too late really. And I don't know whether if every piece was stitched, it would look too much or whether it would actually look really good. So that might be something worth experimenting with and seeing whether you like that appearance as well. But I mean, if not, I think just literally 1 or 2 pieces is lovely. So that's that sheet. And then this is this one. And this one I wasn't so regimented. I didn't stick to the same pieces. But I just did a little bit of stitching around this piece, around this pink, and then around the patterned paper here at the edge. And it just kind of gives a little bit of a different effect really to the paper. Just before I go, I just want to show you because, I mean, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to have time because I think we're up to like nearly an hour already. But this is one of my pages from the Spring Birds kit. And I just thought, oh, this would be an awesome collage. So I might have to come back and have a bit more of a play doing some collage with this, you know, this piece that we made, because I just think it would look really awesome with this particular page. But yeah, as I say, there's probably not enough time today because I will be here, you know, probably another 25 minutes to do another collage sheet. But also I would really love to come back on and obviously play around with these 2 collage sheets that we've made and see what types of pieces that we can come up with using, obviously, you know, the collage sheets that we've made, utilising our altered book page, you know, making the patterned paper from the book pages. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the video and yeah, I hope that you'll join me for the next video. Thanks very much then. Bye.